Hello, and welcome to the Velvet Revolution with myself, Ben Royce, and my co-pilot, Dave Noble. How you doing today, Dave?
Mm, that's it.
That's it.
Just gonna check in with
It's a
a.
brief check-in today.
Just gonna check in with a.
Mm.
How am I feeling? Um, I feel it's a mixed bag actually. I feel like there's some fog in my head.
Okay.
Um, Let me explain just briefly, right? So yesterday I heard that there's been a tornado in Florida.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And yesterday I was out with a friend and we went for a coastal walk, right? And it was blue skies, beautiful weather, very nice. Bank holiday weekend. And we found a spot. I'd been eyeballing some spots, and where I live, we have to get away from all the tourists because it gets a bit
All the Yahoos.
all the yahoos. Yes. So we're trying to find a Yahoo free zone, right? So there's a many for those that come to the West Country. We have to find spots to get away from you lot.
Right. Okay. Look at you, you local now.
I know I sound like I've lived there and born here. Apparently you've got to be seventh generation to consider yourself to be a local here.
Yeah. Okay.
I've been here 5 years. Anyway, right. So I still need to get away from people, right? Anyway, so gone this coastal path walk, blue sky, lovely weather, find the spot. We drop down, we see a bare bottom.
Okay.
A lady with, white hair, bare bottom. That's quite a common sight if you locals only know where to go. There's a lot of bare bottoms and white hair down here, right?
Okay.
So it was a bike, a push bike, a mountain bike with a helmet on the handlebar
Yeah.
to the side on the grass verge. And then we saw it and we was like, oh, I wonder who's that? Who's that is? I thought it's just some guy fishing. No, it was a nudist doing bareback on the rocks, sunbathing.
Yep.
She wasn't on her own. There was a little gang of them.
Hmm.
Don't know what was going on, whether there was any exchange of, I don't know. I won't go there. But anyway, so we left. We kind of backtracked, and then we found another little spot, and there was no one there. Anyway, rock pools. We didn't do the whole bareback thing,
Yeah.
but we went in and we got in the rock pool, and it's beautiful and it's nice, and it feels like you're really in the open water. Got the waves slowly crashing in, right? And there was like this sense of waterfalls coming over the rocks. And it was just like really like it's like one of those what are they called? The swimming pools next to the ocean. What are they called? Infinity pool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
an infinity pool, right?
Yeah.
So- And it was beautiful. So it was basking in that. Then we got out, we had a little picnic, right?
Hmm.
Perfect. And we're sitting there, and slowly the sky started to have clouds coming in. We watched it. We had this sort of like IMAX cinema right in front of us, panoramic view. It's gorgeous. No one about apart from the bear lot up the coastline a little bit.
Hmm.
And we just slowly saw this sort of like cinematic sort of change in the weather come in. Now, unbeknownst to us, there has been this tornado in Florida, but it's coming up,
Right.
right? It's coming across. And I think it's gone up to Iceland. We saw a guy on a walk back with one of those big old cameras. He was taking photos. By the time we'd got on our toes and left, because
Hmm.
the waves were getting massive, crashing over, crashing over. It was getting really gnarly and really loud and really sinister, the ocean. And we thought, what is going on? Where's this swell coming from? And then we saw this guy with a camera and he was out taking photos. And he was the one that said, there's been a tornado. This is the weather that's come through. And
Hmm.
I was like, wow, man. And we just was watching all the waves as we walked across the coastal path. Anyway, point is that the weather that's been quite turbulent and stormy, I get affected by that.
Okay.
I do. I feel quite foggy. I feel like there's a storm brewing
Hmm.
in my head. So, but I'm really like everything I just shared was like one of those, I always say it, life affirming, experiences. It was really freaking great. It was ace. It was such a great day. But I've woken up feeling quite hungover. I'm like, why do I feel so? Plus, I've eaten too much fish this
Okay.
weekend. I feel like I've got a bit of a fish hangover. I'll leave it at that. But
Too much air and too much fish.
too many sardines, mate.
Right, okay.
But anyway, I'm in really good spirits, but I feel a bit. I've got a head fog on today.
Okay.
Yeah. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really good. Um, I've almost got the sign off on the old wound, so I'll be able to check in and not mention it. Although we have already mentioned bare bottoms, so we're definitely
Sh
on trend still with what we talk about.
Yeah,
Uh,
she didn't have a wound on her bottom.
no, otherwise she wouldn't have had it out.
No.
Yeah.
And have you got any? Have you got a doctor's note? I need to see a doctor's note so we don't have to do the ceremony with the nappies. End of season.
I'm down to like I mean I've had these massive plasters, these massive dressings, and I'm now down to this tiny little one. And they're now at the point where they're trying to stop it from overgrowing. Apparently, when the wound heals, there's a chance that it sort of overgrows to compensate for all the
Mm.
regrowing it's had to do. So yeah, I'm now at that point where it's almost healed, and that means my 3 month, 4 month sabbatical that I've had will be coming to an end, and I'm going to have to go back to the world of work next week, which is a little bit daunting.
Well, look, we've got plans, haven't we? We've got plans, right? More will be
Mm.
revealed. We've got plans with our Velvet Revolution,
Hmm.
right? So don't see it as a sentence.
I don't. No, it's gonna be interesting to go
It's
back.
all right.
I did go back. Was it
Yeah.
last week? Was GCC results? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I went back in last week, and it was like after you spent so long out of a place, it's like everything's changed, but nothing has at all, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll settle back into it, and it'll be good to see everyone. I mean, the kids have changed because we've had a year 11 leave, and we've got some new kids coming in, and
Got any new staff
yeah, we've got a new cook.
that you didn't employ because you wasn't
Yeah,
there doing
a
your
new
job?
cook and a new receptionist that I haven't met yet. So that'll be interesting.
Ah.
My I've got a monstera plant in my office, which when I took over the headship there and moved in, that's I went to IKEA and bought this plant, and it. I'm not joking. It's like Little Shop of Horrors. I walked into my office. They've had to move it. It's literally taking over half the office. These leaves are giant. It looks,
It's
yeah,
symbolic. It's emulating
yeah. The
what
regrowth.
yeah, it's emulating. That's symbolic to what your journey's been. It's whilst you've been away, it's been caretaker of your office,
Yeah,
and it's showing you that, it's okay. Like life
yeah,
goes on,
yeah.
you know,
Gets bigger.
gets bigger. What's your I need to ask you this because we're coming to the end. This is the last episode of the first season, right?
Hmm.
Now your arse has been the rat's tail. Are you still writing a story about this? Are you still writing a book?
Yeah, it's not it's I thought I'd write every day, but it sort of had a huge sort of impetus at the start, and
Mm.
then it's waned, let's say.
But you've put some bones down. It's
Yeah, yeah,
there. You'll come back to it, I'm sure. Um, I always feel a book will get written when it gets written.
yeah, yeah,
It's, it's sometimes it's like a book. You buy a book, sometimes it sits there, but you read it when it's meant to be read, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the way I see it. But it's been a theme. I guess going into season two, maybe we'll pick up where we left off, but it won't be your wound. It'll be your. It'll probably be me counselling you over you going back to work.
Yeah,
You
yeah, it might be that.
processing. It's like you're just going to come in with all these different mixed emotions. No, it's going to be great. But anyway, your takeaway from if anyone's been listening with us all the way, the journey, of you coming to the end of this season, and it sounds like things have gone from like, you had a pretty basic standard, if I can call it that, correct me if I'm wrong, procedure that then
Hmm.
seemed to sort of go off on a tangent, and then it was more, the plot thickened, there was more to it. It was a deeper wound. It was, I'm sure this is all symbolic, right? And then here we are on the last episode, and it's all come good.
Mm.
It's like a fitting
Yeah, yeah,
conclusion to where we're at with everything.
yeah,
So, what's your
yeah.
takeaway from that journey?
What's my takeaway from that journey? I mean, it's been testing at times, but it's also like, I mean, the next bit is sorting out my diabetes and my blood sugar levels.
Oh, fucking hell. I totally forgot about that.
You
Yeah,
forgot about that bit.
I
So that's
totally.
season two. But I mean, I
Oh,
went to the
no.
doctor the other day and she said, yeah, your blood is more sugar than it is blood at the moment, so that's going to take a while to sort out. But I guess what I was, if you don't, I mean, we've touched on this a few times, but if you don't start the journey, and it's like you said, you pick the book up when you need to read the words. It's there's a I do believe in that life is about timing, and life
Mm-hmm.
is about you get what you want when you need it,
Mm-hmm.
and when you look for it. And this sort of recovery journey that I've been on, I started in the head in terms of me sort of having the breakdown, and then seeking places to try and sort the head out. But what that meant was that I then had to look after my body because I'd ignored that. I'd been living in my head for so long. And this getting rid of the tail was the first part of that. But if I hadn't have done that and hadn't have pushed and pushed like a couple of weeks ago, because I was so fed up with it all, they then wouldn't have done the blood tests and I wouldn't have discovered I had diabetes. And if I hadn't have done that, because I said to her, I was like, if I hadn't pushed, then I wouldn't have got this blood test and I wouldn't have got these results. And she said, no, you would have been really, really ill. And I was like, oh, okay. And looking at, like the various signs I've got, like the fact that I'm, constantly tired, or still, it's not suddenly gone away, and these marks that I've got on my legs, I've had those for years. So,
Mm,
it's not something that's just started yesterday. I've been put, I've been putting up with this for a long time. So I think that's my takeaway is that when you start the journey and you actually look inwards and start doing the self-care, you've got to keep going on that journey. Because
yeah.
if you don't, and you sort of neglect any part of it, then yeah, you're not going to recover fully. And I
Mm,
think that's where I'm at now. Is I've got I've got this ridiculous reading of 105 of my sugar to blood ratio, whatever it is, and I'm not quite sure what that number means, but 40 is
mm,
healthy. And I'm now in this sort of rush to sort of get this number down. And the doctor's like, no, it's going to take months, but you're on the medication, you do the right things, and it's kind of like, that's the lesson I need to learn. Is it's not a quick fix. It's not you start doing the things and tomorrow it's all better. It's you keep going, and it's one day at a time, one little bit at a time.
yeah.
And there'll be days like I went to Wagamama's the other day and I had some noodles. Other restaurants are available, and I thought they were quite healthy. It was like it was a pad thai, and I had extra tofu, so I thought loads of protein, veg, and noodles. And my blood sugar suddenly went through the roof. And
Mm,
it was like, it's just learning like what it is that my body's going to react to, what's going to produce the sugar. But that's the next bit. And I've got to slow things down. I've got to take my time, and I've got to just relax into this
yeah,
is this is the third act, or the
yeah,
whatever the stage of life I'm at.
yeah. So I That's great. I went to see Richard Ashcroft on Saturday night.
Oh, lovely.
The legend that is.
Yeah.
Not sure I told you that, but
No, you
anyway,
didn't.
yeah, I went to see Richard Ashcroft, man.
Mm,
I was like 50 meters away from him
wow. Was
on
that where the
stage.
sardines were? Or was that something different?
No, no. That was a different festival. Anyway, he was down there, and he's a legend. I love him. I think
Mm,
he's a deeply spiritual. Uh, he's just very dialed in my opinion. What he
mm-hmm.
writes about, he's soulful. He's
Yep.
connected to his soul. He's a soulful writer. He's a soulful performer. He's a soulful man. He's full of soul. That's what he emulates to me. I've always thought that. So I've always connected to him on that level.
Mm-hmm.
My brother me onto him because my brother was really, before anyone really knew who Richard Ashcroft was, my brother was one of them people that, was following these sort of people before they were known. Richard Ashcroft formed the Verve in '89, I think it was, way before their first like popular album was 1997.
Mm-hmm.
So I was aware of the Verve and their early workings way before. And I really connected to that sort of, I always think it's quite psychedelic, that soulful, psychedelic kind of, I don't know, it's just, I love it, right? Anyway, I was, I was listening to him preach to the choir, right? If you want to call it that. And it was a beautiful moment because he was sharing, he was teaching. He was teaching. Now, what gripes me is when you get these people that they have airtime between tracks, right? And the music can be really beautiful, whatever, but they don't know what to do with the airtime. And that's okay, they're artists, they might not be comfortable sharing. So if you've got
Mm-hmm.
nothing to say, don't say anything, man.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. And what gripes me is when you've got artists that they do that awkward drivel that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't make sense. Now I can name some people that do that. I won't, right? But Richard Ashcroft, excuse me, isn't one of them people. He's soulful. He's poetic. He's an educator. He's a teacher. He's a freaking he's a rabbi.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean by that. I'm not saying he's
Mm-hmm.
actually a rabbi, but you know what I mean. He's someone that can spread the gospel or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean by that, right? Of truth.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing, And this young girl I saw, she was sort of diagonal to me on her daddy's shoulders. She must have been about 10 or something. She was like, Richard. And he heard her and he turned to her straight away and he gave her a lot of time. And my point is, time and space is what he was saying. I think he opened with Weeping Willow. And I
Right.
think, is it that song with the time and space, space and time? I can't remember. But there's a
Yeah.
song with that lyric, and
Yeah.
it's way ahead of its time because he's teaching about, you know, we need space and time. We need to understand what that means. And that's what you're saying. That's what you were saying. It's like I've
Mm,
learned to, I need some space to land and to understand and gain awareness and knowledge and information. I need that space and the time to reflect on it and to gather and garner my experience with that. We all need
mm-hmm.
that, right? So he was talking to this young girl. Her name was Daisy. It's made her freaking life, man. That he was talking to her, and he's like, "What's your name?" And she was like, "Daisy," and he was just talking to her, teaching her some stuff, like talking to her. Oh, really beautiful it was, and he said, "I'm going to dedicate." And then he went, "Oh, actually, hang on. My next song's called "The Drugs Don't Work." Yeah, I'm going to dedicate my next song to you. It was really beautiful. Anyway, I just wanted to share that because um, I don't know. I thought it was relevant. Yeah, space and time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need space and time.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was
No, I
he was
totally
singing
agree.
about that stuff. He was writing about that stuff years ago.
Mm,
Way ahead of the curve, man. Anyway,
yeah.
that's what I think. Big up Richard Ashcroft, man. Forget
Yeah.
everyone else. He's the best songwriter that's come out of this country for a long time,
Yeah. Yeah.
in my
Nice.
opinion. Okay.
Right.
So,
Have you got any particular takeaways? Now we're at episode 26.
what about your
Not
wound.
about me. No. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But if I ever have an ingrown hair, I'm gonna ignore it.
Yeah. For 20 years.
I'm not gonna deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Takeaways. It's been amazing. I love what we do. I'm passionate about what we do. I had a conversation I shared before we hit record with you. I'm going to share it with other people. I've just recorded an episode with a dear, dear friend and significant person in my life, Tony. He's going to be on my other podcast, but he's the guy that showed me, he opened the doorway to this other way of living. And he's a very significant person in my life. He's my first mentor that I ever had. And I'll be forever indebted to him. Um, but he's working in the system, in the institution of prison system.
Hmm.
And I was sharing with you when we're going into prison, Ben. We're going to take the TVR into the prison system
Hmm.
to help some young men and older men. They don't know it yet, but we're going to manifest it.
Yeah.
So watch this space. But what I've got out of this first season is that we've got something to offer.
Hmm.
Maybe people haven't caught up with it yet, and they're not aware of what we've got. And this isn't come from a place of ego. This has come from a place of just knowing from my experience, lived experience up until this point, that when it feels right and it's in flow, it is right and it's in flow.
Hmm.
And this is. And I don't really care too much about what other people think because I don't seek validation. It's like, I know this is good. You know it's good. We know we've got something that can help people. And that it's not like, oh, this is the magic formula, everyone. It's not that. We are a conduit to open up doorways in people's perception so that they can then open the doorways, through connecting to what we're talking about. That's what I believe. And then it's up to you whether you walk through the doorways, people.
Yeah.
But we're opening doorways. That's what I think with the information. We're getting people to understand that there's doors that can open, and you can
Yeah.
walk through any one of them doors, but you've got to walk through it. We're not got the answers to everything, but I believe that what we do is just unlocking the keys. We're the key. We're the janitor. We're the janitor of people's minds.
We're going back to Hong Kong Philly.
Yes. Yeah. What's your janitor like at your school?
Yeah, he's a lovely guy. He's a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a really beautiful conversation. Actually, I saw him when I came back in, and he's a really gentle soul. And unfortunately, his mother has just passed away.
Oh, bless him.
And he just had this moment. You could see it. I mean, it's been a month and a half, I think. I
Mm.
think it happened at the beginning of the summer. But yeah, I was just asking him, just gently how he was, and you could, yeah, he just broke a little bit. You could see him. It's still really raw for him. But yeah, he's a really lovely guy, and I just really feel for him. And I've just had a friend staying over the past couple of days as well, and his mum's just passed away. It seems to be a little bit of a season for it at the moment. I don't know if it's the age we're at.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe. I don't know. Many times your time, your time's your time.
yeah,
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. All right, man. Well, look, give him a hug from me, mate.
yeah. I will.
All right.
Should we crack on and find
Yes.
a word for today?
Yes. So we're on Z, or if you're in
Yep.
America, Z. Don't know why did they change it to Z?
the it's the same as tomatoes and tomatoes, isn't it? It's
Yeah. How did they interpret the Z letter, the English? Am I right in saying, it's the Queen's English pronunciation? I mean, look, let's get it real. Who gives a fuck who made it up? I mean, it's interpretation. It's open to interpretation, isn't it?
yes.
You can say Z. If you want to say Z, say Z. I say Z sometimes. I even say route sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just throw it
Okay.
in as a curveball to sort of
See
freak
if people are
people
paying
out.
attention to what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Or going to somewhere and like, I'll be in London or something, in like East End London. Say, yeah, can I have a extra tomato on that margarita, please? See if they flinch or
Yeah,
have a
yeah.
reaction to it. No, I'm only joking. Right, we're on Z. Shall I
It's your
read them?
turn to choose.
It's my
Yeah.
turn. I've got them up, right?
Okay.
Have you added any?
I don't think I have, or have I? I don't think so.
All
No,
right.
not knowingly anyway.
Okay. So the first one, I don't know why this is here, but I've got an image in my head that I can't get out. Zippy.
Okay.
Now, if you're not sure, people, some people definitely will put a word association to a
Yeah.
very popular face to that word.
Yep.
And if you're not sure, go, look it up on a platform. I was going to say the G word there. Look it up. Look it up. Zippy, if you're not sure. And you'll be looking at what I'm looking at in my head. Zippy. I would love to do the impression. And I spoke to my brother not so long ago. And I listened back to one of the episodes. I don't know if it's the last one. I mentioned Frank Spencer. Did you mention Frank Spencer on one of these episodes? I don't know why.
Don't know
And
why.
I hit my brother up, say, yo, bro, because my brother does the best Frank Spencer impression. And then I woke up this morning to, have I delete? I can't remember. I'm a weird, I delete messages, right? So unless they're really beautiful, I need to keep them. But I generally have a clear out of all my messages. I'm so weird like that. But he sent me like what are they called? It's like a GIF, is it? Like a video
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
of
Okay.
Frank Spencer. And anyone that doesn't know Frank Spencer, look it up. He's a comical genius. But in reflection, you watch that and you think, what was going on there? What was
Yeah.
going on with Frank Spencer, man? I need to rewatch that show because it was pretty freaking mad, wasn't it?
It was. He did all his own stunts,
Yeah, he did.
and there was some pretty, yeah,
Crazy shit.
pretty crazy, violent stuff happening to him.
Yeah, I remember the
Yeah,
roller skate one was the one I
yeah,
always remember where he goes kind of off a bridge, down some stairs, onto the back
yeah,
of a
yeah,
bus.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, and my brother also does a very good Zippy impression. So if you're listening, bro, I'm going to anticipate you're going to send me a Zippy GIF. Anyway, so Zippy. What does that actually mean? What does Zippy mean?
uh, like buzzy, upbeat. I don't know. Yeah,
Zippy. Yeah. Oh,
zippy.
you're really zippy. Yeah.
I'm
All
thinking
right.
amphetamines, but maybe that's the wrong place to go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Interesting. Interesting. Zing. That reminds me of the Spice Girls.
Yeah,
Scary Spice. I don't know
yeah,
why.
yeah,
Zest.
yeah. They're all a bit
The
zingy,
Spice
zippy,
Girls.
zesty, aren't they? They're all a
Bit
bit
Spice
spicy.
Girls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Zany. Oh my God. Can we
Uh,
get away from these? What are these legit? Zippy, Zing, Zest, Zany.
yeah. Is
Sounds
that
like
it?
sounds like things that would be in the speech bubbles on the old Batman
Yeah, yeah,
cartoons or
yeah.
movies. Zealous or zealous.
Zealous.
What comes to mind is over, don't you're being overzealous, right? So is that
Yeah.
what does that mean? Cautious? No?
No, it means you're being over, like it feels very religious, like you're being very dogmatic. You're like, I'm not gonna veer from this way of thinking.
All right, and then Zen. Now,
Right.
the obvious one, I'd love to close this season on Zen because it's just a perfect way to close. But I'm going to go zealous.
Okay.
There you go.
Right. And now you're gonna get the book out, aren't you? Because
I
neither of
am.
us are quite sure whether we've got that right.
I've picked that based on what you said. So
Oh,
if
okay.
it's not that, I'm going to cancel it and we're going to go Zen. No, let's just, I'll redline it zealous, right? Now, is there a way of you looking up what it means as well, not on this in this book? Because I don't think this book's always accurate, if I'm honest. But we never go by this book. Like, um, is that being zealous? Overzealous?
I
Underzealous?
think if you were a devout follower of whatever that book said, then you would be zealous.
Okay. I think this is, let's have a look. Can you look it up as well? Just get a
So
sort of,
I've got showing great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or objective.
so that's what zealous means, right?
Hmm.
Right. Now I'm reading it out of this book and it says having or showing great energy or enthusiasm for a cause or aim. So yeah. Okay. There we go.
and it's very strongly believing or supporting something, especially a political or religious ideal.
Okay, so I need to get clear on this. As checked in, my head's a bit foggy at the minute, right? So I feel like I've been riffing for the last however long we've been recording in like just this conscious stream flow of um waffle, right? Should we add waffle to W?
Yeah, we can.
Stop being so waffly.
Waffly.
Um, Zealous. So yeah, I need to get my head clear because I need to sort of. But this is part of what we do. We're not sure on what a word is, and then we try and unpack it. And it's our interpretation of. It's how we process that. So what people are listening to in a way is us doing lifetime processing of what something means to us, right?
Yeah,
In a way,
in a way, yeah.
it's kind of what it is, right? Unless we're pretty clear on what it is. I'm not. Let me get my head around this. Like, I tell you what, I'm going to relinquish trying to do that. I'm going to get you to do it for me.
Live without any
Yeah, and then
support.
I can help. You can help me process it. Because
Okay.
whilst we're there, this is really significant. What I'm saying. Excuse me. Right. So, excuse me. Bring me down. When I first got into a path of recovery, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, to some people, it's like, what is that? What does that look like? What recovery? Recovery from what? What are you recovering? For me, it was recovering my true sense of self,
Mm-hmm.
authenticity. I was recovering the person I once was at the age of 34, 2009. Bang. I started that journey, right? And here I am years later, still on that quest, right? And I've got closer to my true nature. I feel like a lot of the time I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, because I'm not perfect, I'm not in it. But I'm in it more than I'm not. I'd say 85% I'm in it. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say 100% because that's pure arrogance. That's bullshit. All right. Now, that process was only, for me, only able to take place by what I'm suggesting we're doing now, which is I sometimes need to sit back and relinquish what I think I know and just let someone else take over
Okay.
so that I can sit there and slowly calculate how it relates to me.
Right,
And then
okay.
I take that information, go away and process it myself. Plus, I can do it with that person. And
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier about Richard Ashcroft and what you were saying, I need space and time to reflect and do it. Now, we've got about an hour to do this right now, but I've got time after. And anyone listening, you've got time now as you're listening to us, and you've got time after. So, that being said, Ben, what does zealous mean to you? How's it affected you in your life? Does it affect you? Etc. Etc.
Yeah, I mean, the way I'm looking at it is that I think we are very zealous about our Velvet Revolution. We have
It's
a very strong faith. Uh, of, we support and we bring a lot of energy to the ideas that we are talking about in this podcast. And I guess the other thing that's coming up for me is that idea that I also I don't ever want. I mean, I don't think we do. I don't think we're dogmatic. I don't think we ever sit there and say we've got all the answers. I think, in fact, I think we do exactly the opposite. And it's interesting because when we started this, I was always very conscious. You know, there's lots of noise around. Oh, you're men of a certain age, of a certain color that you know that you decide to do a podcast, And and I've seen it. I saw it in a comedy show the other day. It's like it was the sort of punchline to these two guys living together. It's like, oh, we've known each other a year now. Should we start a podcast? And this week was the first time that I've ever had. I mean, it wasn't directly to me, but someone I was talking to someone about doing this, and they were talking to someone else who's younger, and sort of meant, oh yeah, of course they've got a podcast. Of course he's got a podcast. He's a man of a certain age, and he does. He's decided that he needs a platform, and I really hope that we're not doing that. And I think I was really cautious of that when we first started this, of like, what is it that we're trying to do, and that we don't become some sort of cliche. And I think that's the difference, is we bring a lot of energy, we bring a lot of faith to this idea of that we can find different ways, that we don't have to follow the masses, and we can step outside those conventions, and we can start a conversation. I mean, that's the most important thing to me, is that we start a conversation, and a conversation has two parts to it, which means that, for me, that we are listening, and that it's not just about talking, and it's not just about. I remember I think we may have touched on this before, but the loudest voice in the room isn't the wisest. And I think that's what I hope we've done in this first season of 26 episodes, of 26 letters of this alphabet, is have a conversation about other ways. And we're not saying this is the way, you've got to do it this way, you've got to have this, and you've got to go and meditate for 2 hours a day, and you've got to only eat this food, and you've got to do that. And it's about exploring and about trying to understand. And that means that we have really open conversations. And for me, zealous has a slightly negative connotation in that it's almost like you're so zealous, you're not listening. You're not listening to someone else's perspective. And I think that's, as we've gone on, we've had a couple of people, you know, actually write into us. We've had some really lovely feedback of people saying, I really like what you're doing. And I think that for me is the next part of our journey, is really opening up that conversation. You know, we it's our velvet revolution. It's not it's not the only way. This is not the only path. It's about exploring everybody's journey and where we're at this moment in time. Like that,
Mm.
we talked about this before we pressed play and press record. It, it's there on the tip of everyone's tongues at the moment. Anyone that's thinking about the world, it's like, this isn't how I want to live. This isn't making me feel good. This isn't
Mm.
positive.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that's where I'm sort of, that's where my head's going with Zealous.
Mm.
Is I'm not, that was really where we wanted to take this, and definitely not down that sort of, right, this is the way you've got to live your life, this is how you treat people, this is, it's a gentle, open conversation. Does
Yeah.
that make sense, if I just waffled?
No, no, it's good. I'm slowly, I'm listening. It's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Um, I'm listening, and everything you said. I mean, obviously, I'm biased because I'm included in what you're talking about. But I was talking to some friends just the other day. Again, it's for the other podcast, and they were very quick to say, because they're vocal coaches,
Right.
right? And they work a lot in entertainment, so
Mm-hmm.
they train people in voice, I've done some engagement with them, believe it or not, on how to, before I recorded 13 hours for my audio, but I just wanted to, I asked them as friends. I was like, can I have some pointers for how I'm going to do it? And they said to me, their job is not to take an authentic voice and then turn it into an unauthentic voice. They said, our job is to make your authentic voice really fucking great, like imperfect, absolutely fucking imperfect, keep its nuances, all of that. And the reason I'm saying this is because the problem they have, they're like us, they're covert. They've got a lot of people who
Yeah,
just, they've got a good reputation, like I have, like you have, for what we do. And we've decided to go a little bit more, excuse me, a bit more overt with it. We want to, we want to share it with more people overtly,
yeah.
right? Mainstream,
Hmm.
right? But the problem is we are entering and we are in a sea, an ocean, an Amazonian sized river. Clues in the word there, people. Um, Current climate of culture where everyone, it's a lot of fish in that river,
Hmm.
in that stream, flowing stream, right? There's a lot of fish. And like you're saying, what the coaches were saying, my friends, this is what I'm saying. 'Cause it's true. I believe it. That how many of those fish swimming in the stream of saturation really genuinely have something that is of essence or truth to other people. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's like they're saying, stop giving your money, people. Stop giving your money, subscribing to people. Stop. We're all searching for, I need to sound this way. I need to look this way. I need to feel this way. And it's endless. Like I'm saying, the fish in the stream of the Amazonian River, there's a lot of people taking your money, man. There's a lot of people taking your money, your
Mm.
subs, for what? What are you getting out of it? What are you getting out of it? And what the friends of mine, and they're true, it's on point what they're saying, You need to go away and and sort of, this is what we're saying. It's like what I was saying. We are opening doorways. We're not saying subscribe to us over a period. And if you subscribe to us and you give us this amount of money for this course and this da 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 da, then we'll get you to this point and da 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 da. It's like we're not doing that. We're just like suggesting that if you go away and maybe have a look at some stuff and figure it out for yourself, what works
Yeah,
for you. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. No, I think it does, and I think that's why. It's why I mean, that's what I mean. I have this sort of vision in my head of the American preacher standing in front of the congregation. I come forward and I place my hands upon you and heal you. That's how I interpret zealous. Is that I am I am telling you this is the way, and it's my way.
Is
Uh,
there a, sorry, I interrupt you. Go and continue.
No, I think I'd finish, but
Uh,
yeah, I think that's the yeah, and I don't think that's how tonally we work, and I don't think that's ever how we've set out to be.
Are you, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Are you saying that there's a Messiah complex? Am I right? I'm just pulling that from Life of Brian. I'm not the Messiah. Go and find your own. You are all messiahs yourselves. Go and, it's that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think that is the truth. And I mean, I think it's really important that people people put their heads above the parapet. I think we I think we're in a really strange place at the moment where we are made smaller and smaller. It's easier to shrink. It's easier to stay indoors and vent and get angry and end up in quite a dark place than it is to step outside and go, I've got a voice. And I'm not saying this is the voice. It's not saying this is the voice that everyone has to listen to. It's a choice, but I think we have to do something. And
Mm,
that's, again, that's why we started doing this. It's like we can't just sit here and go, we've got all this knowledge and experience of working with different, different types of people, different areas of trauma and addiction and recovery. And you know it was, we both were frustrated. We're both frustrated with the state of play at the moment. And it's like, what can we do?
mm,
And even if we're just talking to one person and we connect with that one person, and we've, someone has written in and said, this really has made me think, and there's lots, not lots, yeah, there's lots of other people that have had the conversation. They haven't necessarily chosen to write in, but there's lots of other people who have spoken to us, said, yeah, I really connect with what you're saying.
mm.
So I don't think we are shouting into a void. I think we are trying to have balanced conversations about looking for ways forward and trying to find those answers.
Yeah, yeah. And we're
And
zealous about it. I'm
yeah,
starting to get my head around what zealous means. So that is we are being zealous in our approach to what you just said.
yeah.
Okay.
And there's got to be an energy. There's got to be a belief. Like, we wouldn't get up and do what we do on a daily basis and work with the people we work with if we didn't believe that there was a way forward.
Mm-hmm.
We what we're
Absolutely.
trying to find for the young people that we coach, we mentor, we teach, whatever you want to call it,
Well,
we talk with on a daily basis, is trying to find a
yeah,
way that helps them grow and
yeah,
turn into functioning adults that are gonna enable them to live well.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's different for every single young person we work with.
Well,
It's not a one size fits all conversation. It's like that, every kid that we've come across has got a different set of circumstances, a different context. This is going on for them, this is going on for them.
mm,
And that manifests in the diversity of thinking that we get.
yeah, absolutely. Right. Okay. Here we go. I've got my. I think I've got my head around it. Thank you. You've helped me there, Ben. You really have. You've helped me. Everything you're saying makes sense to me. Um, so the way I see it, I was talking about covert and overt, right? And people listening, how does that relate to you? Covert, overt, right? So some things we keep covert, some things we want to bring into the overt, right? So some things are just sacred and we don't need to, keep that separate. And then some things we can bring to, um, outside of that space and share with other people and the world. Now, we're not on social, you've got social media, haven't you?
Got
Be
bits. Yeah.
bits. And I don't have it. I mean, obviously, we've got channels that we put these on. Like, if that's social media, that's social media. But other than that, I haven't got it, right? Now, I've made a decision. And a lot of people are like, you're fucking mad. You got two podcasts, you got a book, you got all this stuff. Why aren't you on social media? I've had so many people say that to me over the years. Like, 'cause just don't. fucking need it in my life, man. I don't want it. Five fish.
Hmm.
Anyone that's not sure on that, go and listen to all our episodes from from A to Z. And in there somewhere is an analogy that Ben brilliantly brought to it about five fish, all right? About the fisherman, the humble fisherman that just wants to go out and have a chilled existence, to keep it simple, right? The opposite of greed and the need for validation and all of that. Now, I get it that social media is a brilliant marketing promotional tool, but that Amazonian river is like it is because of social media, in my opinion. All right. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean it's right. It's just the way I see it, right? But I've got evidence in my life that you can contribute to life, to the community, to the world, to people, affect them in a five fish way. You know, I've got the evidence already. So I believe because I've got the evidence for me. Now, you don't have that maybe, but I have it. So you're trusting me with that. And that's why I'm very heels in, dug in. I'm zealous.
You are zealous
I'm
about social
zealous
media.
about
Yeah.
that. I'm zealous about that. That's one thing I'm zealous about
Mm.
is I know that I'll get where I need to get to in my life without it. Don't need it. Doesn't mean I don't use that Amazonian flow of activity because I can, but I just don't participate personally in it and contribute to it. My contribution is being zealous about the message that I'm conveying, the spirit and authenticity and integrity in which I do it. Yeah. And the
Hmm.
consistency and the dedication and the zealousness to continue to do it because I believe in it. And covertly, because that's my overt attempts of doing it, right? My covert, right, way of doing things. I've got so much data. I'm writing a second book about it, about the countless cases, because it is a case study, my second book, right? I've got countless case study data, evidence. Doesn't suggest, it clarifies, it confirms to me and to many, many families and to the individuals that the way we do things covertly has a profound effect on people's lives for the better, transformative change for the better. All right. So if I'm zealous about doing it covertly, then it makes sense that I'm going to be zealous about the way I do it overtly. I have to maintain some of that synergy. To me, it feels dirty and murky to go into that Amazonian flow of saturation with what I'm doing because it's too sacred what we're doing, in my opinion. And I want it to stand out and be, I want it to be the little secret, the little treasure that people find and go, wow, this is really fucking beautiful. I found something really special here. I knew someone, I'm not going to name it, I'm not going to call them out. They used to have this really cool little broadcast. It wasn't a podcast, it used to be a little thing that you used to have to go on the internet and go onto their, I think they had a link to, it was a link to a website, and they used to do these little audio files on their website. And it was a word of mouth thing. And a lot of people in the know knew about it. And he had a good following of people, five fish, who found like they had this secret treasure that they'd found. And it was really sacred to him and special. And he did this broadcast like once every Sunday. And it was just basically, it was to do with, um, am I right in saying I Ching? Do you know what that is?
No, go on, explain it.
I don't know enough about it, but it's something to do with like planetary, like you could say horoscopes, right?
Hmm.
But then I think somewhere along the line, he sort of went all like mainstream with it.
Yep.
I turned off. tuned out. Sorry, mate, you lost me. Because I felt like I'd lost something special and sacred that only I knew about.
Yeah,
That makes sense. That's just the way
yeah,
I see it. It's just the way I see it. But this is what I'm describing is the world that we now live in, and why I feel like nothing's sacred anymore. It's really hard to keep things pure because there's other narratives. Is anyone really zealous? I'm not judging people here, anyone that's doing it the way that I don't do it. I'm just saying, is it possible? Are people is that what overzealous is when people believe the hype?
yeah.
Do
They
you know what I
won't
mean?
see. Yeah, they won't see any other way. Like the energy and the belief in that system is so strong that they won't see that there's a different way of thinking.
Because what I just shared, am I being overzealous with what? Am I being too
No, I
rigid
mean
in what
I
I'm
think it's a
saying?
really difficult one. It's like you were saying, you talked about the Verve earlier. When the Verve came out, their first, I don't know how many couple of albums it was, but yeah, they were an underground indie band, and people that knew about them, and then they get bigger, and they release the drugs don't work, and everyone wanted a piece of them, and there's something about keeping your authenticity when you get to that level.
Mm,
I just think of people that have fame thrust upon them. They automatically get then caught up in that sort of washing machine turbulence of like criticism and people feeling that they have a right to comment on absolutely every aspect of them. And they,
they become either politicians or global specialists in fields that they have no fucking
yeah,
you know experience in, right? Because they're an influencer.
yeah. But you lose. It's something like it's really difficult to retain that specialness, and it's something like when you feel like that's your band or that's your musician, that music is really special to me, to then share it with everyone else. It's really difficult to let it go, and suddenly
Mm,
I can't remember, I don't, but I think of bands that I've seen in tiny little venues, and then
mm.
suddenly next thing they're playing Wembley Stadium, and it
And then they sound like they're like a really cool underground indie whatever rock
yeah.
band, and next minute they're signing it, they've turned into a fucking pop band, for
But it's
example.
but there's also a snobbishness about that, isn't there? And I'm also very conscious of that, of like wanting to share great music and great art
Mm.
without it becoming yeah. How many bands retain that specialness when they become really big?
Well, when the money comes into it in a business, they can't because unless they cut a deal where they maintain their own creativity and
Yeah,
their
yeah,
sense of how they want to market it and present themselves.
yeah,
If they can do that, then it's possible. But ultimately, it's about shifting units. It's money.
yeah,
So what sells?
yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What we're talking about, what I was talking about, what I was getting on my high horse about. I always feel like I'm getting on my high horse. I don't feel like I am. I'm just sharing my truth, whether I'm sharing it to a friend or on here
Hmm.
overtly, right? I'm not gonna, change my point of view just because I'm going from covert to overt.
Hmm.
I am what I am, and see the world the way I see it. It doesn't mean it's right for anyone other than me, right? But it's kind of like, I just feel very passionate, very zealous. Is there passion in zealous, do you feel?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Right? It's got to be, right? It's the
Mm,
motivation to have the energy and the spirit of which you believe in something. So it's got to be
yeah,
passion, right?
yeah,
So I'm very passionate because of what I'm saying. It's like, for me, this is my interpretation. All I'm doing in this episode, people, is just trying to understand what zealous means to me. That's the whole point, and trying to raise some points of view to maybe I don't know. Um, how does it relate to you people? You know, what we're talking about. Does it? Can you even be asked to even, you know, it does it, you know what I mean? I don't know how it would, but let us know. Um, but the way I see it is, um, like I just, for me, it's like a passion project.
Hmm.
It's like I'm very passionate about what I do in my life covertly. I don't feel I need to share it with the world. That's why I'm not on social media.
Yeah,
Now, people that find me, find me.
yeah.
And that's not just a beautiful thing. It's because of the nature of what I do, similar to what you do. We're dealing with broken people. You can't be sharing about that shit, in my opinion, all over the internet, online, like on things like social media, because I just feel it's inappropriate for me to do that. Right, now, I'm going to write a book about, on a case study book, but I'm very conscientious about how I write about things. You know, I'm very conscientious about safeguarding not only people, but what we're talking about. You know, I'm creative. I turn it into an art form and I'll be creative with it. And I feel like that's what we're doing on TVR, on Our Velvet Revolution. We are injecting our lived experience, so our own personal journeys, plus there's a crossover into what we've what we've gained from engagement with the other,
Hmm.
right? In their journeys. Right? And that's an amalgamation. I feel like the Velvet Revolution is just an amalgamation of it's a big soup, or like I say, a pizza. It's a Hawaiian of all this different stuff that we've got knowledge of. And we're just, we're sort of spewing it out for a broadcast. And I don't know, I just feel like I pressed the fast forward button. If we went, like, say, when we went, like, on a grander scale and more people found us. Because for me, it's not about loads of people finding us. I'm not doing it for that. But of course, I want people to hear what we're talking about because I feel there's some good stuff in there. But for me, I've pressed the fast forward button. I've seen too many people see how it goes. Now, I know I'll keep my authenticity and my integrity. But when you go to a grand scale, when you go from 5 fish to 5 trillion fish, things change, man.
Mm.
The environment changes. It's unavoidable. So if you ever asked yourself, how would you react to that? How would you
Right.
react?
No.
How would you feel knowing that you've got 5 trillion people listening to every word? I know what I'd do. I'd be quite playful with it. I'd be very provocative. But that's what people do, right? They're provocative to get 5 trillion people.
Yeah. I mean, you look at people, authentic people who keep true to what they want to do,
Hmm.
and you see people that are just the moment starts to get big, it's like you know, like there's something small and intimate about the fact that even in a podcast, it's you and I having a chat.
Hmm.
To then, you know, I don't know, I don't ever think about how many people are listening.
Exactly. That's the whole thing, right? That's exactly what my thing is. When I'm working behind, like, covertly, it's just me and uh, the other, and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
some extension of that is like a team, like a team of professionals where I'm working, collaborating with them, and the family. It's a small unit, very, very covert. No one knows outside that space what's going on, right?
yeah, yeah,
Very confidential, right? And then
yeah.
you got when you bring that kind of what we do, because it's the same for you at your school, right?
Mm.
You're only working with the people you're working with in that space, and then some of the parents you have interaction with, the teachers. But then when we're talking about what we're talking about on through this mic that's being transmitted, our voice. So these vocal coaches, they talk all about it. You know, it's a vibration.
Hmm.
So this vibration that we are capturing for however long we do these episodes is broadcast, and it connects to the listener, right? And then something happens when, it's like when you listen to music, something happens. It's a vibration that you
Mm.
connect to. So what is that vibration? This is what them vocal coaches are brilliant at. They understand that the vibration is so potent, it's important. It has the power to make change. It's not
Yeah,
just the words you're talking about, it's the vibration in which you do it.
it's how you say it as well as
Yeah.
what you say.
Now, if you're constantly thinking about the vibration and who you're trying to capture, that changes a lot of the vibration, in my opinion. If you
Hmm.
don't think about it, like you said, I get on here, I'm not really, I'm just talking to you right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And all I
I,
need to focus on is the vibration that leaves my mouth, them tonal frequencies that leave my mouth, go into the mic and then end up in your ear. And then something happens in you to react,
hmm.
to have an experience. That's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, yeah.
So imagine if you had 5 trillion people that you've got to, you know, now that's why I feel a lot of people, who are you? What, what's your character? What are you made of? How genuine are you? Where are you at with all that? Because you've got the ability to be the Messiah or just you know, it can go so many ways.
Yeah, I was.
And where does the zealous part come into all of that? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. We are only human. We're not born to be gods. I was reading this week, and I wish I could remember the guy that wrote the article, but he was talking about the idea that we were never born or never made to live in huge gatherings. Cities are completely uh, the wrong way for us to
Mm-hmm.
live as humans. They isolate us as opposed to when we used to live in small groups in villages, and the hierarchies that you would build in a village, and the
Yeah.
way it would be much more fluid than we,
Mm.
you live in a city, and you're just completely isolated. And the other thing that I guess I'm thinking about is I went to see Nick Cave a couple of years ago. He did a tour where he was just answering questions and he was just talking. It was just him and a piano. He played a few songs, but mainly it was on the back of when his son died, and he just the red hand files that we've talked about before, and he was just the audio. There was a microphone being passed around, an audience could ask him anything they wanted, and he would try and come up with with an answer in there. And one of the things he talked about was when he performs, and Nick Cave tends to play big stadiums. He doesn't tend to do intimate venues now. He says that he focuses, or he has to connect with someone in the audience. So I think it was someone had written in the Red Hand Files and said, were you singing to me at this concert? And he said, there's a high chance. He said I tend to look at the first couple of rows, and he said, and those are the people, because I can see their eyes, I can work with them, and I can, I can make that connection, and I can sing to them. And he was mentioning he was mentioning Bono, and he wasn't. He said, a good friend of mine, Bono. He said, but when U2 play, when Bono plays, he plays to the back row. He sings to the whole stadium. Whereas Nick Cave was saying he struggled to do that. He needed to see the whites of some of people's eyes, and did make me think I probably don't want to go and see him unless I'm sitting in the front few rows because
Yeah,
you're not connecting with everyone else. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting idea. Like you're talking about is once it goes once it goes big, like how do you keep that connection? How do
mm,
you know that you're having that communication that is still honest
mm.
and still authentic?
That's why I was saying about, like I love what you shared, and this is great. I'm loving this. This is why I love what we do because we're trying to expand on just what it means and let's get deep with it. Um, I was sharing about Richard Ashcroft making that connection with people in the audience, but not just some banter bullshit. You know, purposeful, meaningful, proper connection,
Mm,
soulful connection. That shows me, he is. Next year he's gonna be huge. He's gonna be massive. He's doing a world tour. He's gonna be massive. He's on a comeback off the crest of that other band that he should have been headlining for, in my opinion. In my opinion,
mhm.
um, just my opinion. And
That's not a popular opinion.
I know, but hey ho. There we go. I'm putting myself out there, but it's just my opinion. It's the way I see it, right? I'm passionate about it. So I'm zealous about that, right? But it's not just banter. He's really connecting on a meaningful, really deep level, a profound human to human level, right? And I know other people do it in a different way and it connects to people, whatever, So who am I to say, I can't say what people's connection is with music or other people. How the hell do I can't say that. I can't do that. But I know what it means to me because I do it. Because I do it. It's how I can't. Suicide prevention is something that I could put in a description of what I do,
Mhm,
partially. Suicide prevention, right? And I've got a good record of success with that.
mhm.
And the only way I've got that is through that human connection. So please forgive me if I'm whittering on about something I actually know quite a lot about,
Yeah.
right? On a deep level. Now, I'm not passing judgment at everyone saying, oh, well, you're not doing it like I do it, so you can't be doing it. I'm not saying that. But I know what it is to have that real connection with meaningful connection with people that is transformative, to really transform someone's life, to really improve their life. And aren't we all seeking that? Isn't that what everyone in that Amazonian river is searching for? That connection in themselves and in the other? Aren't we all just we're on a quest? That's where the commonality of what zealous means. We're all being really zealous. Are we being overzealous in our quest in all the wrong places? Are we meant to be just bringing it back a bit and being more relative about it and going, well, look, it's more realistic if I can just start small, yeah, and support, my needs of what I'm looking for. I'm not saying that's what everyone's trying to do. I'm just saying that is it possible that everyone's trying to do that? And is it more accessible if we start small? Am I making sense? Have I just gone completely off on one there?
No, I think it makes sense to me. It, it's it's that desire to want to do something well. It's that desire to do something that sustains you, that gives you sustenance. Creativity is such that it's enough that if you're
Mm,
doing it for yourself, that it feels good.
mm,
Like you don't have to be Mozart, you don't have to be Van Gogh, you don't have to be uh, Nick Cave. I mean, but there is something caught up in that idea of creating an art where there's a where it does get monetized, where it does get about fame, it does get about you know being liked.
Mm.
Um, and I think if I'm really honest in terms of my sort of creativity, it's as a kid that's where I got my recognition.
Yeah.
It was definitely that's what I was good at. So when people say, when I did a drawing and I was a kid, that's where someone's, oh yeah, you're really good at that.
Mm.
You know, I mean, I shouldn't really say this because of my where my stance lies now on the Royals, but I remember doing I won a competition when I was like, I don't know, year 3 or 4, and it was a draw because it was a Queen Mother's anniversary of some sort. And so I did a picture of the Queen Mother. I drew it and I won first prize. And
What? That's a blast from the past, actually, mentioning the Queen Mother.
yeah,
Um, just yeah. Oh, there was a Queen Mother once. Bless her, rest in peace. Hang on, who did you? Where did you? Who gave you the prize? Where? What?
it was a school thing, so it wasn't like it
Oh,
wasn't like
wasn't from the
it wasn't
Queen
a
Mother.
national prize or whatever. But I won. I remember going to the school and there's like a whole wall of different drawings that kids had done, and I got first prize.
Well
And I
done.
remember thinking, oh, that gave me a little bit of a boost.
Mm,
And I do think about that in terms of we do art to connect. So we do create to make uh to start a conversation. I think an art piece is there to communicate something. I always, whether it's that's just really beautiful and I want to share that with people, or whether it's more political than that, I don't know. But it's it is a dialogue, I think, a piece of art.
yeah.
And automatically that then gets feedback or criticism or however you want to
Mm,
frame that. And there's a tendency to always want it to grow
yeah.
because that's how we see art. You want your painting to sell for £1 million, or you want your song to reach number 1 and you want to play a stadium. It's like, but is that then still fulfilling you? Is that art still authentic, still sustaining you, still giving you that same sustenance it did when you made it? Like, what are you making it for? Are you making it for the likes, or are you making it for
Yeah. Yeah.
feeding your
Yeah.
soul?
See, I love that because look, what I was saying, right? Just so we're clear for anyone that's like, look, so we're clear, right? What's coming out of my mouth? It's just the way I see things, right? And I'm not saying like we shouldn't strive for greatness and be recognized and celebrate our greatness. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that. Like everyone, 100% go find your voice, whatever that may be, right? Find your voice, whether and your expression, whether that's spoken or written or whatever it is, however you interpret your voice, whether you're making arts and crafts or your voice is just you go to a job and you are part of something that serves yourself and others in a good way, right? Because that's a great thing, right? And celebrate that and go to the top of the level you can get at with no restrictions. It's not, I'm not saying we shouldn't be striving for that, but it's like it's the spirit and the energy for which we do it is what I'm going on about. It's like for me, I'm just sharing my experience. I know I've flirted around the whole fame game. I've flirted around the whole freaking wealth game. I'm on the fringes of that stuff constantly, right? And I just know how intoxicating it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just speaking from my own lived experience here that, I'm someone that knows um, sensory attachment, aka entanglement, aka titillation, aka um, you know, addiction,
Hmm.
obsession, compulsion. I don't know. There's certain things that come into play that can really um, affect and influence our way of doing things, in my opinion. And I say our, I'll bring it to me, in mine, in the way that I do things. It has a lot of influence. And I've had to work through some of that. So, is it possible that other people can be affected by it too?
Hmm.
How are you affected by it, Ben?
Well, as I said, there's definitely a part of me that was that I know I got my sense of self and sense of or a part of my sense of positivity about myself
Mm,
was through making and drawing because
mm,
that's what people told me I was good at.
mm.
And and you, I mean, you've created a piece of work. You've written a book. Like, I guess at the moment, I don't know how many reviews you've had, but the people that have spoken about it and read it are people that know you or know your story you know,
Yeah,
or know a friend of a friend. I mean, it's very word of mouth at the moment. So the feedback you'll get, have you had any negative feedback that's made you think, oh God,
none.
why did I
No,
do that?
none. I've had 5-star reviews, right?
Yeah,
Um, Audio book, I've had people, I had someone just yesterday say, I've just got your audio book, like, wicked.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I've had people that don't know me
yeah.
that have been compelled to reach out and let me know that it's helped change their life. So yeah, and that's why I'm doing it. Now, if it went or when it gets to a bigger scale, because I'm in no rush. Five
Hmm.
fish, I'm five fish, man. Just I just create the art because it's for the love of it, and it's for the spirit for which I do it. It's my motive is I want to help people, and of course I want lots of people to find this, what we do, what I write about, what I talk about. Of course, I want loads of people to listen. Of course, I want the whole world to listen, but I'm not obsessed by that. I'm not like fixated on it. It's not
Hmm.
like my every thing that I do every day is what can I do to make that happen. I don't have that thought come into my day ever. It's a background thing for me because I trust that it will get where it needs to get to the people because so far it is slowly. But
People will listen to it when they need it.
it's when people they'll find the work. This is the beautiful thing about synchronicity and about the intelligence of consciousness which we all collectively share in this world. Like, and I know that and I believe it. I know that. It's not a belief. I know that there is this incredible intelligence of consciousness that we all share. And when people need to find a teacher will be placed in front of them. When they need to find the right book, it will be presented to them. When they need to find the right transmission or broadcast, vibration, whatever vibration it is, they'll receive it when they're ready to receive it.
Hmm.
That's it for me. That's how I see it. It's very deep, very cosmic, very psychedelic, whatever. Don't worry about it. I don't need to accelerate that process because I do it. There's a term in God's speed,
Hmm.
a very common term, but if you really unpack that term, it's quite profound.
Yeah.
You could replace the God with in the right time, in the right speed.
Yeah. Which
Don't
goes all the way back to space and time where we
space and
started.
time. Exactly. Richard Ashcroft, you're a fucking legend.
Are
So he is
are
actually
you working for his PR team at
yeah,
this moment in time?
they're doing a bank transfer after.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, so that's what I'm dialed into, right? And other people will be dialed into that too. And they'll please, send me a freaking message, man. Join us at the velvetrevolutionpod.com. Send me and Ben some feedback. Are you dialed into, do you relate what we're talking about? Am I chatting shit? Am I just freaking like deluded? I'm open to it, man. But I know I'm not because I've got the evidence that shows me that I'm not, right? It works for
Yeah.
me, and it might work for you people. Share if it does. If you're doing if you've got the same sort of vibration frequency of how you live your life, please share it. More the merrier. And if you haven't, that's great. Share that as well. You know.
It, I mean, what's coming up for me is that idea of just being comfortable with yourself and knowing why you create or make something or why you do what you do is really, really key. Because if you're doing it for external validation, if you're not doing it because it makes you feel good, then um, then it becomes false. It becomes the vibration is off. If I just feel that's that's where it's sort of leading me is this idea that actually it's that zealous belief in yourself in that you are good enough,
Mm,
whatever you choose to do. and
mm.
and if you don't have that, then there'll always be a level of unhappiness or discomfort in what you're doing because you don't believe it.
Yeah. So absolutely, I love that. And so look, just to bolt onto that, right? And I think you shared that article with me about the middle. The Zen or Buddhist call it the middle path, the middle way, right?
Mm,
It's
the
like,
third eye.
yeah, it's not being in the place of happiness all the time because it's not realistic. It's not going to happen. And it's not being in unhappiness all the time because that's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. There's a middle way, the middle way, right? What does that look like? And it's the same for what we're talking about. You shared it with me, Ben. So you know what I'm talking about the we are living in a culture in a world where we've got to be trillionaires, billionaires, and we've got to be famous and have all the freaking success, and we've got to have the freaking MTV TV show. Is MTV even going? I don't know, but um, you know what I mean. We've got to be on Cribs, and
Pimp my ride.
yeah, and
Yeah.
we've got to have a freaking show made up about us, fly on the wall documentary, docudrama about us, and we've got to have, all of that stuff, right? Otherwise, we've not made it.
No.
And a lot of people don't even try to make it because they're like, it's too unattainable, it's too inaccessible. Or they start to try and do it, but they can't gain that level, right? So they give up or they fade away or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's a middle way. There's a huge slab of middle way where people can sit in if you're creative or whatever you're doing that you're trying to achieve in your life. Just do it anyway. Don't try it. And if you're just doing it to have that global freaking fame and messiah-ness about it all, then maybe you're doing it for the wrong reason. I don't know,
Mm,
right? But there's a middle way. Now I'm sitting sort of somewhere in there, I reckon.
yeah.
I'm not really bothered about being in that, on that higher level because I've met a lot of them sort of people. They're wankers.
I went to see
Do you
I
know
went
what I
to
mean?
I
It's
went to
like,
see Spinal Tap on Sunday. Yeah, they're showing it at the cinema again. It's like 41 years since it was released. And there's the bit at the end where the credits are rolling and they're reading off all these different interviews with the band. And there's the keyboardist Viv Savage, and they're sort of like, "What's your secret? What's your after all these years on the road with Spinal Tap? What is your thinking?" And he just, it's quite a famous quote saying, "Have a good time all the time."
Yes.
And I
Yes.
know he means it in the rock and roll sense, in that
Yeah.
he's constantly off his head,
I
and
love
he's.
that.
But I think it also is quite profound in that if you're just trying to do the
Yeah.
right thing and be good all the time. You can't keep it up all the time, but it works. It
Yeah.
works.
I love that, man. I've Spinal Tap. I rewatched that just the other day. I own that. I bought it. What do
Yeah.
I actually own it? I'm not going to say where I bought it from, but I don't think I actually own it.
It's in
But
a cloud somewhere, yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they're doing a remake. Not a remake. They're doing a second one, aren't they? They're
Yeah,
filming it.
it's coming
Yeah.
out in a month.
Oh, is it? I can't
Mm.
wait, man. I cannot wait. I
I
love
hope
it.
they don't spoil it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think
I
they
know.
will. I don't think they will.
They're too good, man. They're too good.
Yeah.
It's freaking great. If no one's watched, if anyone has not watched Spinal Tap, you've got to watch it. It's, well, you may not like it, but it's it's fucking good, man.
It's a good thing to go and see, because it will just make you laugh. It's one of the funniest films I think I've ever seen
It's great. Have a good time all the
all the
time.
time.
I love that. That is kind of like the maybe the mantra for our season close. Everyone, right? Everyone, have a good time all the time. Um, yeah, so it's the spirit for which we live our lives, man. There's a lot of people that I've come across in life. I was one of them that was afraid of trying to, I was blocked, I was frozen. You know, of course there was other things that were at play, addiction and fear and, you know, unprocessed trauma and all the usual stuff. But I was frozen in this place of fear of trying to even begin the journey of fulfilling my true purpose and my dreams, my aspirations,
Hmm.
um, through fear of failure, fear of being seen, all of that stuff. So when you do get the courage and you find the strength to trust the unknown, to step into that space of, the who am I and what do I want to do with my life? What is my true purpose? And if you kind of know what it is, I saw someone just the other day at the festival I bumped into at the gig, and he's one of the most talented singers that I know. And he was talking about how it's like he's never made it. He's been nearly signed a couple of times, but he's never made it as a singer. And he really wants to do it. And but there's them classic things that are always there blocking, the fear, the stuff that, the belief, the self-belief, and knowing the right people. And, there's a lot of things at play that, you know, there's like a magic formula, or you've got to be the chosen one, or your face has got to fit, or you've got to have the right name, or you've got to have the right levels of obedience to play the game, to get where you need to get to. And it's like, no, just be in the middle bit. Just start there, man. Just enter the middle bit. Be in the middle bit. Don't worry about the higher tiered level, because people just try and jump from obscurity and unknown, or their bedroom, to the top tier straight away. It's like, why do you not just want to sit in the middle bit for as long as you can and be comfortable in that space and develop a foundation of feeling like you're having a good time all the time in that space. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that's where I sit, I think. And it's like I really believe this is what I get deployed to do. I'm pulling people out of the obscurity of their alienation and a place of fear and hopelessness,
And
right? You,
need for more.
exactly. And then I'm placing them, I'm helping them empower themselves. You know, they've got to do a bit of work, but I'm helping them, I'm coaching them, saying, look, come on, you can do it. Let's do it. What do you want to do? Right, you want to do that? Let's do it. Come on. What do we need to do to get you to that point? Not
Mm.
the not the Messiah global like top of the world place. And if that's what your desire is, then go and do it. But just be settled for being in the middle bit. Just get out of obscurity and be seen. Make yourself seen. Come from under your stone, the rock for which you hide. I don't know. I think that's the problem with the internet. It's one of the problems is that you know it's that huge swell, that whole sea, ocean, Amazonian sized river side, you know, of noise, and it's a very scary place to be, and it's overwhelming, and getting back to the space and time, you know, how do we find the space and time to develop and be who we need to be if we're doing it in that way?
Mm,
Not impossible, but it's challenging.
mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the internet is a result of where we are as a society. I don't think it's the cause. I think we started that journey a long time ago. I think after. I mean, I'm just trying to think whether it was Elvis or whether it was the Beatles, but you know, the when we went global, when we stopped existing in sort of small villages, when we had probably when we had a world war. I mean, it's like we stopped existing, and that's
Mm.
not being I can't think of the word, but it's not a desire to re border everywhere. It's not what I'm saying, but it's this loss of identity because we've become so big. It's
Mm,
the loss of the self,
yeah,
and I think it's really important that we become small again and happy with, you know, whether we are, painting at our local watercolor
yeah,
group or whether we
yeah,
are playing down the pub with our mates
yeah,
in a
yeah,
local band. It's just having that. Actually, life's all right. Life's quite good.
yeah, yeah,
I'm happy with my lot.
yeah.
You
Love
know.
that, love that, love that. I really do. What's come up for me is there's a term called anatta. Anatta. I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's like from a transcript from um what I've studied in Dharma with the Buddhist scriptures, and what that means, anatta. I may be wrong. It's just off the top of my head. It's called anatta, and it means no self.
Mm-hmm.
And I studied that when I was studying meditation, and I continue to do it. I think this is why everything that comes out of my mouth is why it comes out of my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Is because I have that study, learned practice of sitting in meditation and understanding what that means. No self. And you might say that to some people, and they're like, what are you talking about? And it's like, what does that mean? Well, what that means to me, it's only my understanding, it's my translation of that is I realize that I am this soul, right? I'm a soul. I'm a vibration of noise, sound, light, energy, maybe. You know, I'm more than just skin and bones and organs and, you know, all the tissues and muck and fluids. You know, there's more to me. I know that than just all that stuff. You know, I've got this soul, a spirit for which I live. This
Hmm.
body of mine is just the vessel of which I'm having an experience. And I understand that. Now, my ego will tell me, no, you're this fucking cool looking dude, mate, that's like got the swagger and walking along and do 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 do, and you got all the talk and blah blah blah. Blah. That's my ego.
Mm.
Get rid of that. That's no self, no identity, no names, no attachments, no motives, no gender. The only agenda or motive I need to know or have is to just be as I am, and that is enough without all of the trappings, or jewelry, that I may or may not want to wear, or haircuts that I may or may not want to have on my scalp, or clothes, or identity. No self. It's okay. I'm okay. I am enough. We are all okay, man. We're all just okay as we are, people. I'm not my body. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my emotions. I'm not the story of my past. I'm the soul. And I'm a beautiful, magnificent, spiritual being of love and light. And I am enough. Mic drop.
That's definitely the place to finish season one. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know where that came from, but I felt I needed to say it.
Mm.
Because I feel on my end, I do get on my little ranties, my little soapboxes, but it's passion. It's me being zealous. There we go.
Yeah, yeah.
I understand now what zealous means.
Yeah, yeah. You are
Right.
zealous about being good enough.
So please forgive me, people. If you're listening, you probably turned off anyway, so don't worry about it. I'm just, but like, if I say things that just sounds a little bit like, oh, here he goes, he's off on one again.
He's preaching.
It's I've secretly got a very deep Messiah complex. I assure you, I haven't. I wouldn't have said what I just said about no self.
No, you have a very strong, beautiful energy, and you've taken a lot of, I want to say, deviations. Your journey has not been straightforward to get to that point, and I think it's testament to all the work you have done that you now have that energy and that
Mm.
contentness to you, which I
Thank,
think is a really beautiful thing.
thank you, brother. And same goes to you. You're on your own version of that journey, and it's a beautiful thing to share the space with you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Um, so what a beautiful end to season one. I feel very proud. Excuse me. I feel very proud in a very healthy way that
Mm.
we've done what we've set out to do. Exactly, we're practicing what I've been preaching, which, which is, let's not go for the global fame and glory. Let's just turn up at a blank page and start writing our story.
Mm.
All right, with no other agenda or of course, we want to reach people. So anyone that's been with us for this first season, thank you. Thank you very much. Of course, you know, it's the collective, the community. And I feel like we need to start to lay down some of the stuff that we've been talking about. I know we mentioned playlists to episodes, mixtapes. Got to get a blog in order on the website and get all that stuff done so people can really start to engage with us. And we will endeavor to do that. So please forgive us if we haven't delivered yet, but I suspect there might only be sort of one or two people that will actually bother to look right now. But that's okay. We're building it, and we're building a pyramid,
Yep. Yep.
and
Strong
it's legit.
foundations.
It's legit.
Yeah.
It's not a Ponzi scheme, right? Please subscribe to our. Yeah, I won't say the name. Please
Yeah.
subscribe and buy us a coffee.
It's not back to your photocopying days.
We could make it like that, but I don't think we should. All right, man. How are you
All right.
feeling? How you feeling, Ben?
Yeah. Energized as ever from having this conversation. So
Yeah,
thank you so much for that. Yeah, and thanks for sharing this journey on season one.
no worries. We're gonna get straight into season two, so I'll see you soon.
We start back at letter A.
All right, Mr. Rice, and may the force be with you when you enter your school.
Yep, I will
Um,
have my blue energy shield around me.
yeah, yeah, wicked. You are enough. All right, peace and love.
And to you, have a good one. Take care.
See you later, man. Thank you.
Bye.
See you later. Bye, 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 bye.